Hello, this is Tessa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I stumbled over the old Authortube tag and questions. Now, obviously I'm not an old Authortuber in the sense of having a channel. I have been associated with Authortube for 2 years now because I found my first channel with Cavanaugh 2 years ago, and I have been constantly watching videos since then, trying to learn more about writing. And I know I'm older than most Authortubers are, and I don't have as much experience as they do because I stopped writing for a long period of time. So, I started looking for craft videos to try and learn how to write because there's a lot I've forgotten over the years. So, question number 1, how long have you had your Authortube channel? Well, as I said, I'm a newbie, and I've only had my channel for about 2 months. So, even though I've been associated with Authortube for 2 years, I've only been doing videos for 2 months. Number 2, what aspect of writing have you improved since joining? Since watching those videos starting 2 years ago, I have learned a lot about how to write, especially novels. I already know how to write short stories and poetry and stuff like that. I'm a long-time blogger. I've been blogging for 10 years. So I have written hundreds and hundreds of short stories and poetry. So I, don't need a lot of help in that category. But as far as novel writing goes, I do need help. So my novel writing has definitely improved since I started watching Authortube 2 years ago. And number 3, what are your biggest writing accomplishments since starting your channel? I mean, I know this is supposed to be since starting my channel, and that was only 2 months ago. But since I've been a part of Authortube for so long, I've gotten so much help from the older Authortubers. I've got a lot of help in, writing different things involving novels, which I really didn't know much about because, like I said, I wrote short stories, poetry, flash fiction, that kind of thing. And I also wrote nonfiction articles for a large blog. I had to apply for the position. I had to give them examples of my work, and I was chosen as one of their contributors. So for about a year, maybe 12 or so articles were published on their blog. So that was my publishing. And I find that to be a big deal. I mean, I published articles, and these articles were written to help other people suffering from bipolar disorder. And, written by someone with bipolar disorder, and a lot of inside knowledge there. Didn't have to look it up, just had to look at my life. So, that's one of the biggest writing accomplishments I've had in the last 2 years. Number 4, has your drafting style, plotter, pantser, planter, evolved since you began your channel? Now, this is funny because I'm a diehard pantser and have been. And I started my channel, like I said, 2 months ago. and I still consider myself a pantser. I watched a lot of videos of people saying that, you know, how important it was to plot your story out, and, you know, I watched those videos over and over again, and I watched videos on how to do an outline, and some people were simple and some people were extremely complicated and color-coded, and I mean, it was just anxiety everywhere, you know. I just like, why can't I just write my story like I always do? It's in my head. All of it's in my head. It comes out. If I plotted everything, then every change I made, and I do that, I start writing and then I get a different idea a lot, and I'll just head off in that direction. If I plotted it out, then I would have to redo the outline. So I really didn't believe in outlining. But for the sake of giving it a try, an honest try, this NaNoWriMo camp session, which was July 1st to the 31st it ends, I decided I would do an outline and character profiles. So first I started with the character profiles, and I got very upset about the whole thing because I just didn't see where all this information that was being asked on the different sheets I printed out from the different writers. I'm like, what do I need all this stuff for? You know, it's not necessary, it's not important to the story. I don't see why it's needed. But I did it as well as I could. And then came the outline. And I spent most of June struggling to try to figure out how to outline. I knew I wasn't going to do one of those long, involved, color-coded outline projects that I had seen. That was definitely not happening. I tried to do a really simple one, kind of like the ones we did with research papers, and I struggled even with that. So it became more of a detailed list. So I'm going through, and I feel like I'm writing the story, you know, as I'm putting all this information down in this list. And I'm thinking, why? I have this in my head. I could be writing my story right now and not wasting it, writing it all out as an outline. But I promised myself I was going to do Camp Nano with an outline. So July 1st comes, I get my outline, I get my character profiles, I start to write, and I think by an hour, I realized, one, I wasn't looking at the outline at all. I had completely forgotten it was there. And then two, the character profiles, well, they weren't any help. So I wasn't using that. So I went back to basically pantsing my novel. But as I was getting further and further into the novel, it was getting longer and longer. I'm at well over 27,000 words now. I realized that I was having an issue with names. I have a lot of characters, not a super lot, but I do have a lot of characters, more than would be in a short story. And I realized that I was having trouble keeping them straight, and I was either using the wrong name, or if the person reminded me of somebody, I would use that person's name. I'm like, what are you doing? So I had to go back and start over. I made a list of all the characters, their relationships in the story, where they live, where they worked, that kind of thing. Very simple though, not one of these long drawn out sheets that people have as character sheets, you know, what bothered them as a child and caused them to do this, none of that stuff. I still don't see where that's necessary. So I would have to say at this point, I went from being a pantser to a plantser. I mean, I realized that with something this long and in that many characters that I do have to write some of it down. So I guess that makes me a plantser. So number 5 is, if you plan to publish, has your publishing path, goals, traditional, indie, hybrid changed since joining? Well, when I did my newbie goals, my newbie tag, I had mentioned that I didn't plan on publishing either traditionally or indie. I wasn't planning to publish my books except on my blog. And I do have on my blog, I have the start of one of my memoir pieces. I have 6 chapters posted on my blog. If I manage to finish this story. So far I haven't completed any of the novels I've started. This is the closest one I've come to even being interested in seeing it turn into a novel. I'm still working on it, even though I passed my NaNoWriMo goal a long while back on the 23rd, I think it was. I'm still working hard on it, but I do need I had to do a lot of research because it's a thriller, and I'm not used to writing thrillers. And there were, a couple of murders, and I had to look up research on how, to work a crime scene, how they arrest people, interrogate people, all that kind of stuff, because it'll be part of it. So, that, if I finish, will also become posted on my blog. So that's where I'm planning on posting anything that I consider finished at this point. I'm not planning on publishing either indie or traditional at this point. I'm writing for fun. And yeah, I want people to read it. People read my blog. People are reading it. So that's good for me. I'm not looking to make a living out of it at this point in my life. Number 6, what is something writing or channel related you've learned the hard way? Well, I'll tell you, it's only been 2 months, but I realize breaking into YouTube's not easy. There's a lot of videos out there that make it sound like, oh, just do this, this, and this, and you're going to have thousands of subscribers in no time. Well, no, it's not quite that easy. It definitely is not quite that easy. And I'm struggling for every subscriber I get. And, I'm trying to find out how to get subscribers. So I have been watching videos on how to get subscribers, as well as the craft videos on writing. I subscribe to so many people, it isn't funny. So, yeah, that's what I've learned the hard way. It's not as easy as people think it is. 7, in what ways has Authortube changed since you started your channel? The only thing I can say is that I've noticed, 1, there aren't as many of the craft or how-to videos out there. People are starting to do more blog posts on their feelings. There's a lot of collaboration going on, which wasn't really happening back even 2 months ago. I didn't notice all that collaborating going on. Well, maybe it was there and I just didn't notice it, but I've been watching YouTube for, Authortube for 2 years, so I don't remember that being a thing. And since I've been, had my own channel in the last 2 months, they've had writing retreats and stuff like that they're doing, which is great. I mean, there's a lot of information in those things, and it's kind of like going on a retreat but, you know, a virtual retreat. So I think that that is one of the things that's changed since I started, because now it seems like everybody's live streaming and everybody's collaborating. I mean, when I used to watch a writing sprint, it would be one person, and now you go on these writing sprints and there's anywhere from 2 to, I think I've seen as many as 10 people at one time collaborating on a video. So it's definitely changed in the last 2 months. Number 8, what is something that frustrates you about Authortube? What frustrates me, I think, is just the fact that it isn't as easy to break into as they like to lead you to believe. You definitely have to work hard. You definitely have to have unique content to try and draw people into your channel. Half the battle's getting them there. The other half of the battle's keeping them there. I mean, I see in my analytics where a lot of people have been to the site, but they're not staying. So something, maybe the title caught their eye, but the content wasn't quite what they were looking for. I mean, I don't know what the reason is. I mean, I don't watch every single video all the way through, so if it doesn't really pertain to something I'm really interested in, then I stop watching as well. So it's one of the things that I do find frustrating. It's not easy to break into YouTube. You really have to work hard at it. Number 9, what is your hope for the future of Authortube? I would like to see a lot more videos on how to write, because that's one of the main things I did come looking for, is help with writing, tips on writing, things that people have found in their journey that help them, that kind of thing. I would like to see more of that. Number 10, share some oldie wisdom for newbie Authortubers. Again, I'm an oldie as far as watching the Authortube, but I'm a newbie when it comes to having a channel. And I can say that all you can do is keep at it and not give up. Just because nobody looks at the first few videos you make, or maybe even most of them. You could put out, I don't know how many I have now. You could have 20 or 30 videos and hardly any views. And it is very easy to want to give up at that point. But you got to keep going. Because one day, one of those videos is going to hit. And somebody's going to say, wow. And then you're going to start getting, people watching your channel. And you'll have those subscribers that you want. But it's going to be a long, most likely long journey. And a hard one. Because it can be frustrating. I mean, when you spend all that time shooting a video, editing a video, posting the video, and nobody even looks at it, it's heartbreaking. And you just want to break down and cry. And you can't do that. You just got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start over. Don't give up. And that, I believe, is the secret, is not to give up. I mean, yes, there are more people on YouTube now than there were 2 years ago. And I don't know exactly how many years ago it was that Authortube broke off as its own little thing. But it was easier back then to get onto YouTube. Not so easy now. So you have to buckle down, and you have to work hard, and you have to not give up. That would be my wisdom for newbies, and that comes from a fellow newbie. I mean, I made a playlist of newbie videos created by a newbie, and that was the journey I took creating my channel. So each part of it, as I went along, I made a video of, so that other people wanting to start could see what it was like to start a video channel. I mean, there's a lot of those videos out there, and I don't know whether those people did it from their own experience or just, you know, wrote them. But I created my playlist from my journey as a newbie author-tuber. So that's all I want to say. This tag was created by Lindsay Puckett. The original one that I started with when I did my newbie tag was Jenna Streety. I like the questions in this one better, so even though I wasn't an oldie author-tuber, I decided to answer them. And as I said, I've been a part of YouTube for 2 years now, even though I didn't have my own channel. So I feel a part of Authortube already, that I've been here a long time. So if you like my channel, please like it. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to know when I post my next video. And if you want to do these questions, the link to Lindsay Puckett's YouTube video will be down in the description, as well as the questions that are asked on there. I know it's supposed to be for, like I said, oldie author-tubers, but it can be adapted for new people as well. Especially, like I said, I'm an old author-tuber. I've been here 2 years. I just haven't had a channel for 2 years. So, good luck. And until I see you again, please be safe. Bye now.